Hello, this is Greg Allison with Galactic Gregs. They lost another great one, so I want to pay tribute to Binnie. He was the X-Prize winning pilot of the SpaceShipOne, and he died at 69 years old on the 15th of September. And today is the 19th of September, 22. And so I just want to pass this on, guys. On October the 4th, 2004, Binnie piloted SpaceShipOne to space. He flew to 112 kilometers, which was 69.6 miles, which was breaking the 100-kilometer, 62.5-mile von Karman line, which is the internationally recognized line for outer space. So this completed actually the second attempt, which was required by the rules of the Ansari X-Prize, that a spaceship be able to fly twice within a 2-week period. And so they had to fly and then fly again. And the spaceship had to be capable of carrying 2 passengers. Now, it had the weight for it and the capacity, but there was actually only 1 seat in SpaceShipOne. So but they passed the rules of the Ansari X-Prize by showing that they could carry 2 passengers if they so chose, but they wanted to play it safe and not put 2 people at risk on a flight like this. So the first flight was actually powered and flown prior to that on the 29th of September, which is 2004, almost 18 years ago, guys. And that was flown by Mike Melville. That was the initial flight. And Binnie completed the second flight, which qualified Scale Composites to win the Ansari X-Prize. So that's how that worked out. Now, SpaceShipOne was developed by Scale Composites, which was ran and owned by none other than Burt Rutan, who was famous for doing long, easy, and a lot of innovative airplanes, including the airplane that flew around the world nonstop with Mr. Yeager. So, guys, and it was funded by Paul Allen, who was co-founder and CEO of Microsoft at one time. So, and I had a hand in this thing a little bit, and some of a lot of my friends and compadres, I'll talk about that in a minute. But guys, it's a sad thing to see a guy such as Brian pass away, 69. It's hard to believe it was 18 years ago that he made this flight, and he's looking so young back then. But that's only 20 years, guys. The family of Binnie, though, has asked that people honor their privacy so they have time to grieve. So they really don't want people contacting them and bugging them. Just let them go through this time and to reflect on their loss. So he will be laid to rest in the Arlington National Cemetery. So Brian was actually the 442nd individual to fly in space, and maybe the last one to fly by himself. He was a Navy test pilot for 13 years, was a Navy aviator, and he flew over 4,300 hours logged, and he made the rank of commander. So he was a very accomplished pilot, and he would have had to been to qualify to fly on these test flights of the Scale Composite vehicle. Scale Composite has been bought out and taken over by Northrop Grumman, a company I once worked for a couple times in a previous life. So it's sad to lose people like that. The SpaceShipOne used a hybrid rocket motor, which is hydroxyl terminated polybutadiene rocket motor, the nitrous oxidizer. This is the daddy of that motor right here. It's a HARC X-Prize rocket motor. So, and in fact, a lot of my guys from the HARC team worked for Scale Composites. Tim Pickens, along with Steve Mistakas and Al Wright, designed the case throat nozzle of that vehicle. They had been working with me at HARC and continue to afterwards. And we actually bid with Burt Rutan to actually pour the flight articles used on the rocket, but Burt and I didn't see eye to eye on the final terms, and so he actually offered it to me contingent certain things that I couldn't agree to. I'll talk about that more in the future. I want to show y'all. I'm going to be able to share a screen here and show y'all the Ansari. Let's see. I'll show the Scale Composite site through the Wayback Machine. It's got a picture of Binnie here and a spaceship. One Scale Composites is no longer a company. Like I said, they've been bought out. This is from the by Northrop Grumman. This is a Wayback Machine. That was Binnie back in the day, and this was, this was his profile as per when he was still working for them. He prior had worked for Rotary Rocket Company, excuse me, which had proved that they could actually land a rocket with a rotary wing on it. That was a very innovative concept. It just didn't have enough money to see its development all the way through. Then have a Paul Allen in their hip pocket. You know, it makes a big difference when you got a billionaire to back your project. As I found would have been helpful for some of the things I did. I had a millionaire, but he wasn't as deep pocketed as a billionaire. This is the Wikipedia site on the Ansari X-Prize. And here's a combination aircraft that flew it. It had the mothercraft that dropped the spacecraft. The mothercraft was White Knight 1, the spacecraft SpaceShipOne. You may know that Virgin Galactic is trying to commercialize Spaceship 2 as an offshoot of this. And I will show you guys that indeed my Altitude Research Corporation was a contestant in the X-Prize, even after a lot of my guys worked for Burt and I didn't become part of their team. We decided to form our own team. And just to give you an idea real quick, that's me, HARC president, Greg Allison with the Liberator Project. And there's Tim Pickens, who had worked for Burt. And I got a whole story I can tell you about this later on. This was the capsule of our Liberator. It was going to be a 3-man vehicle, and then we're going to sit in here kind of cruise style, you know, one in front of the other. This was our rocket motor. We went from a hybrid rockets. We had a kerosene LOX rocket here. It had a thrust vector, liquid injection thrust vector control system, and a regenerative cool nozzle. I will explain in the future what all that means when I do some of my rocket one-on-one type videos and go into explaining these things. There it is a little bit further back. Let's see. So I see Conrad Denenberg in that picture. I don't see him there. And here we want a SBR. You know, so you know, we were a company where we're involved in stuff. I've been involved in space for a long time. You know, see some of that stuff in here. You know, and this is some of our original hybrid rockets that we launched from balloons going back to 1997, almost in North Carolina. You know, talking about our grab for space. That was probably the granddaddy of the spaceship motor there. High altitude launch hybrid rockets with nitrous oxide oxidizers, except we launched some balloons, not airplanes. But you know, it is a tragedy. Let's go back to Binnie. It's a tragedy that we lose such great pioneers as that. He was a great man. He was involved in so much aviation history, trying to be involved in cutting edge things like rotary rocket. It was very cutting edge. It went from rotary rocket to scaled. So, you know, salute, hats off, Binnie, and pay respects to him and his family. I'm sure his family is grieving quite a bit with that. And so, you know, they deserve, you know, our thoughts and compassion at this point in time. You know, we're losing a lot of people. You know, a lot of space history's gone before us. I've seen entire generations pass away now. Like the V2 rocket guys, they're all gone. And there's not many Apollo people left, really and truly now. We still got some shuttle developers. I was involved in the space station. Look, you know, my hair is not gray. I'm still a young buck. All right, but you know, Binnie was a good man. So just think about him. And you know, I don't always pass. You know, I don't always come on here for somebody that's famous like that that's passed away. But he made such a contribution, guys. He really did with that flight, and he nailed the consummated, you might say, the X-Prize winning for scale composites, and that launched the whole Spaceship 2 venture. And I've got friends that have worked that too. Unfortunately, one of my friends passed away during a cold flow test of that vehicle, in May. So I got a lot to talk about in those areas. Let's see, picture somewhere on that cabinet behind me. I don't think you can see it from this video. No, can't see it. It's covered up. So anyway, my friends, yeah, just think about that. You know, space is risky. He survived, but think about what's happened with. Look, it's taken us 18 years to finally get space tourism going, and it's having a rough time. I mean, in terms of the suborbital market, you know, Bezos has been grounded with his New Shepard. I'll go into that in another video. I was going to do that today, and I discovered this about Binnie, and so I said, well, the Bezos topic can wait. There's a lot of other stuff out in Blue Origin, including they just got approved to do their orbital reef space station by NASA. So we got a lot to talk about in these areas. Subscribe to my channel, bang that notification bell, and click all, and we'll bring you a lot more stuff on this in the near future. But just remember these guys who risk it. There were some guys who lost their lives, and one of the Spaceship 2 development flights. They had a crash. One guy lost his life, and like I said, my friend Glenn May and a couple other guys lost their lives in that cold flow test. So space is not without its risk. These people are paving the way that we may have a very interesting, bright future. I'll talk more about that once worth in the future. So guys, hang in here and we'll get there. It's perseverance. All right, my friends, thank you for watching. Greg out.